Chosen one, what if I told you lust was the weapon used to steal your light? They never wanted you to see the cost. Every touch, every indulgence has left scars you can't always see, but you've felt them. Maybe you've doubted yourself, wondering if you're imagining things or if you're just overreacting. But you're not. The enemy knew exactly what they were doing, using lust as a tool to dim your radiance, to weaken your spiritual gifts, and to keep you from stepping fully into your purpose. This isn't just a matter of personal failings or temptation. This is spiritual warfare, plain and simple. In this video, we're going to uncover the hidden price you've paid, show you why this is happening, and give you the keys to reclaiming your energy and power. Stay with me because by the end of this, you'll see exactly what's been at stake and what you can do about it. Comment 77 if this resonates with you. Don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to the channel. A special thank you to all our membership subscribers. If you want to join the community and support these messages, just click the link in the description. Now let's dive in. Lust is a distraction in disguise. Have you ever felt like something is pulling you away from the path you know you're meant to walk? As if, no matter how hard you try to focus, something unseen is working against you. That nagging sense of distraction can feel almost normal, just another part of life. But for those who are chosen, it carries a deeper weight. It's not just about losing time or falling behind on your goals. It's about being delayed from fulfilling your divine purpose. When you allow yourself to drift into moments of temporary pleasure, those small indulgences, it might seem harmless in the moment. But afterward, you're left with that familiar feeling, drained, scattered, as though your energy has been siphoned off. This isn't your imagination, and it's not a personal failing. It's a strategy, and it's working. But today, we're going to expose it. Lust disguises itself as liberation. It whispers that it's just a break, just a bit of fun, just something you deserve after all you've been through. And so, you give in. But then it happens again, and again. And each time, the promise feels thinner. Instead of finding peace, you feel more anxious. Instead of feeling closer to your true self, you feel further away. What's worse, the longer you stay in this cycle, the more distant your purpose feels. It's like walking in a fog. You know the path is there, but you can't see it clearly. You stumble, you doubt yourself, and the enemy whispers that maybe you're not chosen after all. Maybe you're just pretending. The truth is, this is exactly how lust works on the spirit. It's not just a physical craving. It's a spiritual attack meant to keep you off balance, to make you question your worth, your strength, your identity. But what if the struggle is part of a larger plan? Remember Joseph, who faced temptation in the house of Potiphar. When Potiphar's wife sought to seduce him, it wasn't just a personal test. It was a moment that revealed his true character. By refusing her advances, Joseph demonstrated that his commitment to God outweighed his temporary desires. In doing so, he set himself apart, showing that he wasn't willing to trade his purpose for fleeting pleasure. For you, too, these moments of temptation are a revelation. They show you what you value most and whether you're ready to protect what's sacred. It's not just a trial, it's preparation. Each time you overcome, you're proving to yourself, to the divine, that you're ready to step fully into the life you've been called to live. Even now, if you pause and look around, you'll start to notice the signs of transformation. Those moments where you once felt completely drained are now balanced with bursts of clarity. The people who once pulled you away from your purpose might have drifted out of your life. Doors you thought were closed are now opening. You might feel it as a quiet stirring in your spirit, a renewed sense of focus, or an unshakable certainty that you're meant for more. It's not always loud or obvious, but the signs are there. Every small shift in your perspective, every step you take toward reclaiming your power, every decision to say no to distraction is evidence that change is happening. You're not the same as you were, and the light within you is beginning to shine through once more. But don't think for a moment that this is all by chance. There are forces at work, divine forces, that have been moving behind the scenes to guide you out of the shadows and into the light. What you faced was never meant to break you. It was meant to prepare you, to refine you, and to clarify your purpose. The obstacles, the temptations, the distractions were all part of a setup for elevation. If you look closely, You'll notice the synchronicities, the perfectly timed encounters, the unexpected moments of inspiration, the way certain words or verses seem to speak directly to your heart. All of this is evidence that you are not alone. You have a guide, a protector, a force greater than yourself that is ensuring you don't stray too far from the path. And as you step closer to that alignment, you'll see just how intentional your journey has been all along. Still, recognizing this shift is only the beginning. It's not enough to see the signs, you have to embrace them. For so many, the unknown feels terrifying. What happens if you let go of the familiar distractions and step fully into your calling? What happens if you claim your power and stop allowing others to drain you? There's a part of you that might hesitate, that might feel unworthy or unprepared. But understand this, the change happening within you is sacred. It's not about perfection or having all the answers. It's about surrendering to what you've always known in your heart. It's about saying yes to the purpose that's been calling you and trusting that the divine will take care of the rest. You don't need to see the whole path right now. You only need to take the next step and trust that you're exactly where you're meant to be. Now is the time to rise. You've felt the struggle, you've endured the cycles, and you've seen the signs. But now it's time to act. Release the fear that has held you back. Let go of the doubt that says you're not ready. Understand that the forces working against you can only succeed if you allow them to. So choose today to reclaim your power. Stand in the truth that you are chosen. Declare that you will no longer be distracted, drained, or delayed. Take practical steps. Set boundaries, protect your energy, and stay grounded in prayer and reflection. Know that every step you take toward your purpose strengthens the light within you. Trust that as you walk forward, the path will continue to reveal itself. You've always known, deep down, that you were meant for something greater. It's why you felt the struggles more keenly, why the distractions have seemed relentless. But now you see the truth. You understand the cost of these distractions and how they've tried to dim your light. No more. Today you choose to rise above them. Remember, you are chosen, you are guided, and you are capable of overcoming every obstacle placed in your way. Comment distraction if you resonate with this. Take a moment to reflect, and when you're ready, take the next step. The path is waiting for you. It opens portals to energy drain. Have you ever walked away from a moment of indulgence feeling inexplicably drained, like the life had been sucked right out of you? Maybe at first you dismissed it as guilt or fatigue, but then it kept happening. Each time you felt more depleted, less centered, as if the very essence of who you are was being chipped away bit by bit. If you felt this, you're not imagining it. Something is being taken from you. For chosen ones, this isn't just a personal matter. It's a spiritual phenomenon. Every seemingly small act of lust opens a gateway, an exchange of energy that leaves you carrying more than you realize. And while the world may tell you it's just a normal part of life, you know there's more to it. Deep down, you sense that every connection leaves a mark on your spirit. Today, we're going to uncover exactly how these portals work and why they're draining your divine strength. When you give in to lust, it's not just about the physical experience. It's about the spiritual connection that forms. Imagine an invisible thread that ties you to another person, a thread that carries energy in both directions. While some of these threads are thin and fragile, others are thick and unyielding. They don't just disappear after the moment ends. Instead, they linger, pulling on your spirit. What you may not realize is that this pulling sensation, that feeling of being off balance or out of sync, is actually your energy being drained. For chosen ones, whose light shines brighter and stronger, these connections take more than they give. You might find yourself wondering why, after what seemed like a harmless interaction, you feel a heavy emptiness settling over you. The reason is simple. Something precious was taken, and something heavy was left behind. Throughout Scripture, we see reminders of the sacredness of the body and the power of spiritual bonds. Paul's teachings about the body being a temple are more than just a caution against physical indulgence. They're a guide to understanding spiritual energy. When we join ourselves with another, it's never a neutral act. Forces beyond our sight come into play, energies intertwine, and sometimes what's left behind is far heavier than what we intended. This is why, for chosen ones, even seemingly minor lapses carry significant weight. The Bible's message is clear. Casual connections carry spiritual consequences. And while the world might dismiss these warnings as outdated or overly strict, they were given for a reason, to protect your light, your purpose, and your connection to the divine. What you may not realize is that every act of lust, every unchecked desire, has the potential to open a portal. And these aren't the kinds of doors that close easily. When you engage in these acts, you're not just taking a temporary detour, you're inviting unseen energies to linger in your life. This is why you might feel so tired, so out of alignment after the fact. The pull on your spirit isn't an accident. It's a direct result of these open portals. Some connections might feel light, even insignificant at first, but the more you repeat these acts, the deeper these spiritual imprints become. And over time, they can weigh you down so much that you lose sight of your path altogether. If you're wondering why this happens to you more than to others, the answer lies in your calling. Chosen ones carry a light so powerful that it naturally attracts attention. This isn't just about human attraction. It's about spiritual forces recognizing your potential and seeking to dim it. Your energy is a valuable resource, one that can be taken, repurposed, and used to keep you off balance. Lust, in this context, is a perfect tool. It offers immediate gratification, yes, but it also creates openings for those who want to steal your strength. The more you succumb, the more vulnerable you become. This isn't just a theory. It's a pattern you've likely seen in your own life. Every time you've given in, you've felt that emptiness, that sense that you're running on a depleted tank. And if you don't address it, these portals will only continue to take more from you. The good news is that awareness is the first step to closing these portals. Once you see them for what they are, you can begin to protect your energy. Many people go through life never understanding why they feel so weighed down. They think it's just the stress of daily life, the pressures of work, or the challenges of relationships. But you know better. You can recognize that the moments of emptiness you felt aren't random. They're the result of these unseen connections, these open doors that have allowed your strength to seep away. The moment you acknowledge this, you begin to take back control. The pull starts to lessen, and you find yourself feeling lighter, more centered. You start to remember what it feels like to walk in your full strength again. And as you start to close these portals, you'll notice something amazing happening. That energy you thought was lost forever begins to return. Your light grows brighter. Your sense of purpose becomes clearer. What once seemed like an endless cycle of feeling drained and defeated now becomes a journey of restoration. The ties that once held you back start to dissolve, and you find yourself standing taller, walking more confidently, and feeling more connected to your calling. This isn't about perfection or never making a mistake again. It's about reclaiming what was taken from you and refusing to let it be taken again. It's about understanding that your light is sacred, your energy is precious, and you have the power to protect it. You don't have to let these portals remain open. You don't have to carry the weight of these connections any longer. You are chosen, and your energy is a gift meant to be used for your divine purpose. If this resonates with you, comment portal below. Remember, you have the strength to reclaim your light, to close those doors, and to walk forward with clarity and power. The path ahead is yours to walk. Don't let anything or anyone dim your light again. Your light attracts lustful forces. Have you ever wondered why the struggle seems more intense for you than for others? Why it feels like you're always under pressure, facing challenges that appear far more relentless than what most people encounter? It's not random, and it's certainly not because you're weaker or more flawed. On the contrary, it's because of your light. That light inside you, your divine spark, your calling, shines so brightly that it cannot be ignored. You may have noticed how people are drawn to you, often seeking comfort, guidance, or just your presence. But it's not just people who notice your light. Spiritual forces see it too, and not all of them are benevolent. For chosen ones, this heightened visibility comes with a cost. The brighter you shine, the more you attract forces that seek to dim your glow, to scatter your focus, and to make you question your purpose. When you consider the temptations that seem to come at you from every angle, it's clear that this isn't just about personal desires or human attraction. It's part of a larger spiritual strategy. Lust, for example, is not just a physical urge. It's a weapon. And it's one that's been used for centuries to sidetrack the most powerful individuals. If you felt like you're battling more temptation than most, it's because your light serves as a beacon. It's calling you toward greatness, toward fulfilling a unique purpose. But that same beacon also draws forces that aim to keep you distracted. The goal isn't necessarily to destroy you outright. It's to keep you busy, overwhelmed, and unsure of yourself. That's all it takes to dim your light, and for those opposing forces, that's victory enough. The Bible offers profound lessons about the cost of succumbing to temptation. One example is the story of David and Bathsheba. David, a man after God's own heart, was no stranger to the light within him. He was anointed, gifted, and chosen to lead. Yet, even he fell victim to lust. That one moment of weakness set off a cascade of consequences. His moral integrity was compromised, his family suffered greatly, and his spiritual standing was shaken. For chosen ones, this story is a sobering reminder that no one is immune to the pull of temptation. If even the strongest can be brought low, it underscores just how vital it is to guard your light. Every time you yield to these forces, the enemy gains ground, not just by robbing you of your energy, but by undermining your confidence in your own calling. Yet, this isn't just about avoiding failure. It's about understanding why the temptation exists in the first place. The enemy doesn't waste energy on someone who isn't a threat. The very fact that you face these trials is proof of your importance, proof that you are on the right path. Those moments of doubt, those times when you've been tempted to give in, they're not evidence of weakness. They're a sign of the strength that resides in you, a strength that certain forces are desperate to contain. Your light is so unique, so potent, that it draws both allies and adversaries. Recognizing this truth shifts your perspective. Instead of feeling defeated, you can see the temptation as a validation of your purpose. Instead of questioning why you face so many obstacles, you can embrace the reality that your light is worth protecting. But what happens when you don't recognize the value of your light? The enemy's greatest weapon is subtlety. They don't need to destroy you outright. They only need to keep you doubting yourself. That's why temptations like lust are so effective. They don't announce themselves as life-changing events. They sneak in as moments of pleasure, as distractions that seem harmless in isolation. However, every minute spent entangled in these forces is a minute spent away from your calling. Every ounce of energy given to those distractions is energy that could have been used to shine brighter. Over time, this erosion takes its toll. You might begin to question your worth, your abilities, and your connection to the divine. And once that doubt takes root, your light, while still there, becomes harder to see, both for yourself and for others. It's crucial to remember that this light isn't something you can lose permanently. Even when it feels like your brightness has dimmed, the essence of who you are, that divine spark, remains. But reclaiming it requires intention. It means making the choice to stand against those forces that seek to diminish you. It means saying no to the distractions, no matter how tempting, and yes to the purpose that has always been waiting for you. In doing so, you'll find that your light not only returns but burns even more brightly than before. You'll begin to understand that the trials you face aren't there to destroy you. They're there to strengthen you. The more you recognize the patterns, the easier it becomes to rise above them, to protect your energy, and to stand firm in your calling. As you grow in this awareness, you'll find that your light becomes more than just a beacon. It becomes a shield. The temptations don't go away, but their power over you diminishes. You'll see them for what they are, distractions, not destinations. And with this clarity, you'll find yourself more focused, more determined, and more at peace. Your light will begin to attract not only challenges but also allies, people and opportunities that resonate with your purpose and help you move forward. This shift in energy is what allows you to break free from the cycle of temptation and step fully into your role as a chosen one. Remember, your light is your gift. It's what sets you apart and what calls you to a higher purpose. You've probably noticed by now that you face more temptations than most, but that's not a sign of weakness. It's a testament to your strength. When you understand this, you'll no longer see the distractions as obstacles. Instead, You'll see them as opportunities to reaffirm your commitment to your calling. Comment light if you resonate with this message. Take a moment to reflect on your journey and the brilliance of your light. It's always been there, waiting for you to embrace it fully and let it shine. Repeated cycles break your spiritual vision. Have you ever felt trapped in the same struggle over and over again, as if you're walking in circles instead of moving forward? At first, it might seem like just a series of small stumbles, moments where you tell yourself, this time will be different. But before long, those stumbles start to look familiar. Each time you think you've made progress, you find yourself back in the same place, facing the same challenges. And with every cycle, it becomes harder to see what's really happening. The voice inside you that once told you to stop, to turn around, to choose a different path, well, that voice grows quieter. And eventually, it fades altogether, leaving you unsure of where you're going or how you got here in the first place. As the cycle repeats, something more insidious happens. You start to lose sight of the patterns themselves. What once felt like a mistake now feels like your reality. The subtle warnings you used to notice, those red flags, become invisible. You may even stop questioning them, convincing yourself that this is just how life is. This gradual erosion of discernment doesn't just keep you where you are. It blinds you to the way out. Every time you go through the same motions, it's as if another layer of fog settles over your spiritual vision. That's the danger of these cycles. They don't just delay your progress. They obscure your direction entirely, making the exit harder to find the longer you stay in them. The story of Lot's wife offers a powerful parallel. She couldn't let go of what was behind her, couldn't stop herself from looking back. That one moment of hesitation, of longing for the familiar, even when it was destructive, cost her everything. Her repeated cycle of attachment to the past turned her path to freedom into a dead end. For you, the stakes are just as high. Each time you look back, clinging to what no longer serves you, you lose a little more clarity about where you're going. You begin to doubt your progress, question your purpose, and even feel disconnected from the divine. The cost isn't just in the time or energy you lose. It's in the erosion of your spiritual sight. And without that vision, moving forward becomes nearly impossible. This loss of clarity is gradual, almost imperceptible at first. Maybe you catch glimpses of it, those moments when you can't quite remember why you started, when you struggle to see the bigger picture, when you no longer trust your own inner voice. But over time, it snowballs. The repeated cycles create a kind of spiritual fatigue. You're no longer just battling external distractions. You're also battling the inner fog that's settled in. And this fog doesn't just hide the way forward. It also makes you question if there's a way forward at all. You might start to believe that the cycle is all there is, that the patterns will never break, that your spiritual vision is lost for good. But this isn't the end of your story. Recognizing the cycle is the first step toward breaking it. You may not see the way out clearly yet, but the fact that you're starting to notice the patterns is proof that your spiritual vision is still there, just buried under layers of repetition and doubt. Each time you pause, each time you reflect on what's really happening, you're chipping away at the fog. It's not an overnight process, but it's a crucial one. And the more you look closely, the more you'll begin to see that the cycles aren't as unbreakable as they seem. They rely on you not noticing them, on you continuing the same behaviors without question. The moment you start to pay attention, to listen to that small voice that still whispers, "There's more for you," is the moment you begin to reclaim your clarity. And as that clarity returns, you'll start to see the traps for what they are. What once felt inevitable will now appear as a choice. The red flags you once ignored will stand out clearly. You'll recognize that the pull to look back, to cling to old patterns, is just a trick to keep you stuck. With each step you take forward, the fog will lift a little more. Your spiritual vision, though tested and strained, will become sharper than ever. And with that renewed vision, you'll find the strength to move beyond the cycles, to leave them behind and walk into the purpose you were always meant to fulfill. You don't have to stay trapped in these cycles forever. Even if they've clouded your sight, even if you've felt hopeless at times, know this: you can break free. You can reclaim your clarity, your discernment, and your spiritual strength. It starts with recognizing that the cycles exist, continues with listening to that inner voice that tells you it's time to move on. And it ends with you walking forward, no longer blinded by the past, but guided by a vision that's clearer and brighter than ever before. Comment clarity if you've experienced these cycles. Remember, this is your time to heal, to regain your focus, and to step boldly into the light that's been waiting for you all along. Healing begins with awareness and boundaries. Have you ever had that moment where the veil is lifted and you see, clearly, the choices you've made and the patterns you've repeated? It's a painful realization, but also a freeing one. Up until that point, you might have been living on autopilot, doing things out of habit, seeking comfort in the familiar even when it caused you harm. But then something shifts. You begin to see that these choices weren't harmless distractions. They were walls, holding you back from your true potential. This awakening isn't about beating yourself up or wallowing in regret. It's about becoming aware. It's about looking at your life with fresh eyes and understanding that the first step toward healing is seeing things as they really are. Without that awareness, you can't move forward. But with it, you can begin to take back control of your journey. Acknowledging these patterns is only the start. Once you've seen the truth, the next step is to guard the ground you've gained. That's where boundaries come in. Imagine your life as a city, precious and full of purpose. In the story of Nehemiah, the walls of Jerusalem had to be rebuilt to protect what was sacred inside. In the same way, you need spiritual, emotional, and physical boundaries to shield your energy and ensure that what you've worked so hard to rebuild doesn't crumble again. These boundaries aren't about shutting out the world. They're about creating safe spaces where you can grow, heal, and thrive. They help you preserve your energy, maintain your focus, and keep your light from being dimmed by the chaos around you. When you begin to set these boundaries, it might feel awkward or even unnatural. After all, if you've spent years without them, the idea of saying no or prioritizing your well-being can feel selfish or uncomfortable. But it's not selfish, it's necessary. Think of the people and situations that have taken more from you than they've given. Think of the times you've felt drained, lost, or unappreciated. Now, imagine a life where you're no longer constantly giving pieces of yourself away. Instead, you're protecting your energy and focusing it on the things and people that truly matter. It's not about building a wall to isolate yourself. It's about creating a strong foundation so that you can continue to grow and shine without being pulled in 100 different directions. The more you practice maintaining these boundaries, the stronger they and you become. You'll notice a shift in how you feel, both emotionally and spiritually. Suddenly, you have more energy. You're able to focus on your goals, nurture your passions, and invest in relationships that uplift you rather than drain you. This isn't to say that you'll never face challenges again, but now you'll have a defense in place. When distractions come, you'll recognize them for what they are. When negativity tries to creep in, you'll have the strength to push it away. These boundaries are not just lines drawn in the sand. They are pillars of strength that allow you to stand tall, even in the midst of life's storms. Over time, you'll begin to realize that boundaries aren't just about keeping things out. They're also about letting the right things in. By creating these limits, you make room for the relationships, opportunities, and experiences that align with your purpose. You'll find that as you protect your energy, you attract people who respect it. As you create space for your healing, you'll discover growth in areas you never thought possible. The very act of setting boundaries will become an act of self-love and faith. You'll be reaffirming your belief in your own worth and in the divine plan that is unfolding for you. This journey of healing through awareness and boundaries is ongoing. There's no final destination where everything is perfectly balanced and every boundary holds firm without effort. Instead, it's a process of continual learning, adjustment, and renewal. Each time you recommit to your boundaries, each time you choose awareness over denial, you're taking another step toward the life you were meant to live. You're not just healing, you're transforming. And as you do, you'll notice your light growing brighter. The more you protect your energy, the more you'll have to give, not to those who take from you, but to the people, projects, and purposes that truly matter. In the end, this is about becoming the best version of yourself. It's about recognizing that you are chosen for a reason, that your energy and light are precious gifts meant to be used wisely. When you set boundaries, you honor those gifts. When you stay aware, you protect them. Together, these choices lead to a life of clarity, strength, and purpose. Comment boundaries if you're ready to take this step. Remember, you were chosen for a reason, and by embracing awareness and boundaries, you're stepping into that reason with open eyes and a strong heart.